Hi, welcome to Inspiration Station here on Entrepreneur.com. I'm Kirsten Kloss. Thanks very much for watching. On today's show, we're going to be talking about legal services. And in our call today, I've brought Lyle Ball to the interview. Well, Lyle is the COO of MultiLing, a provider of IP translations and related services for foreign patent filings. He oversees global operations for over 2,000 employees and contractors across more than 100 languages and countries. That's a pretty broad client base. I mean, it's quite amazing. Thanks for joining us on the show today.
Thank you, Kirsten.
So maybe start this conversation here about managing such a diverse workforce. How do you do that?
You rely on really smart people to help you. You know, our offices are spread across 100 languages and 100 countries that we serve. We have 8 regional offices around the world. And to serve such a broad base, to employ such a broad base, you must rely on some fairly intelligent people.
And explain to us a little bit about your experience with startups.
Yeah, my career started at a large company, a global enterprise, and quickly, about a year and a half in, I was pulled into the VC community and worked inside a portfolio company where I was assigned as either vice president of marketing or individual over operations for numerous startups, often simultaneous, and for 15 years helped grow individuals and grow entities, helped merge medium and small companies into larger companies, and drove marketing and operational best practices for those entities. In most cases in my career, those entities have been international, and in most cases they come back to the same basic 7 or 8 offices that most companies go to when they start moving outside of the United States.
And how do you apply this kind of experience to an existing 25-year-old company?
Well, we're a 25-year-old company, but 3 years ago, the chairman and founder decided to have an entrepreneurial experience and to kind of reboot things, mix things up a bit. So although we have 25 years of patented processes and depth, we are having an entrepreneurial experience as an executive team. We took on funding last year, and we are growing beyond our ability to grow organically. We're growing with capital, and we are moving into new markets, and we're exploring new business units, and we're rapidly advancing our proprietary technology. So on many fronts, we are behaving very entrepreneurial inside this company while we are enjoying the leverage of our 25-year-old history and our roots.
So this is a substantial change. Maybe elaborate a little bit on how this differs from other situations in other companies.
Sure. So this company has been around more than 25 years, and that's unique in and of itself for a medium-sized company to have that longevity. Our founder is very focused, and we focus on legal services. We serve the largest enterprises in the markets we serve. We call it the Global 500. And we have been very stable. He's been able to guide the company through multiple economic crisis points in those last 25 years, and was even able to navigate through the advent and influence of the internet and how that changed the world into a very global marketplace.
So Lyle, how do you work with other C-level executives?
Internally and externally. Let me answer that. So internally, the majority of our C-level are located at our headquarters in Provo, Utah. We do have our chairman and founder located in Germany, and we have significant captains located in South America and Asia and across Europe. And so on a daily basis, we are interacting on multiple video links, from one-on-one conversations to group meetings. We use a lot of technology to collaborate within the company. And then in turn, we use that same technology to collaborate with our multinational clients and with their multinational sites. So we may be working with a company based in the US or based in Japan or based in Germany. They each have multinational sites in other countries. And so using technologies like GoToMeeting, Skype, Link, any tool that will help you. I find that if individuals are on video and you can see eyeballs, that the conversation is usually more authentic, and it's more effective, and it's more efficient.
That's really good, and that's actually a good introduction to my next question, which is, maybe you can give us some advice to entrepreneurs out there. What tips would you have for entrepreneurs bringing on other C-level executives?
Make sure they hire for their greatest weakness, their individual weakness, and for their team's weakness. So in all cases, not just at the C-level, we try to hire individuals smarter than we are, at least in certain areas. And so they bring an additional IQ to the entire company and to the team they're joining.
And so do small companies need to protect their IP? You know what? I'm not asking that right.
No worries.
So next, Lyle, let's look at the IP. Do small companies need to protect their intellectual property?
It really depends what their intent is and in which markets they intend to grow. So I would advise all companies to protect their intellectual property at their greatest level or the greatest level of expense. They need to consider, if they're going to do patents or not in their local market first, and as they secure those rights, they also need to consider which international markets they are going into or they may go into in the future. And if they're going to move into an international market in the foreseeable future, then they should protect their rights, not just to enter that market, but once they gain success and gain competitors or gain the attention of others in that market, they want to be able to protect their rights to grow that business and leverage that initial investment into revenues for years.
What are some of the business issues an executive team would consider when going internationally?
Entities considering going into international markets that don't already have a client in that market have a low opportunity for success. But one way to get those clients is to first get a large multinational customer in your own market. So a US-based company that has strong operations internationally. And in fact, many global 500 companies account 40 or 50% of their revenues for overseas operations. So do work really well in your local market, in the US market, for instance, in our case, and then attack one language or one market and seek opportunity, say, to expand your business into Japan or into Germany and work with a proof point within that multinational client that you already have. You already have a relationship and a reputation, and find the resources you need in that one country using revenues that you're going to get off of a known client with known projects and expand from there. That's very similar to how we grew as a company. We had a couple of very large US-based multinational companies. We reached in to a very small subset of languages and countries, and we leveraged those resources across our US-based multinational clients. And as we built our reputation, then we began also getting local market clients in those countries.
Well, Lyle, before we go, I often like to ask our guests, just for the benefit of our entrepreneurs, if you could offer one piece of advice in your experience to other entrepreneurs out there, what would that be?
First, think local in the context of where you are right now, where your feet are on the ground. Are you building the right foundational entity? Do you have the right executive team and the operational strength and the local client base for you to consider the cost and risk of expanding internationally? Once you can answer yes to those questions and you feel stable and that you have the resources required, then target one market and think local in that market. Learn how individuals think and how they cognitively process information. Learn about their emotions, learn about how they negotiate, seek from consultants to understand the language and cultural needs of working in that market. If you try to go into a market and try to act, in our case, like an American company, you're not going to have as great a success as if you go into that market being an American-based company, but understanding and also acting locally within the context of that new market that you're targeting. Also, as you think local, think about your local client base. Build a relationship with a multinational company in your local market, and then work through that company to go into your first market. Companies who try to expand internationally and don't already have a revenue or project target have low opportunity for success. But if they have an existing experience or revenue stream with a local market multinational company, and they identify within that company a target market or language that they can expand into, then they can use their existing relationships and resources to go into that target market.
Great advice. Thanks again for joining us on the show, Lyle. It's great having you, as always, on our program.
Yeah, thank you.
We've been speaking with Lyle Ball. He is the COO of MultiLing, and you can check out their website at multiling.com. So I'm Kristen Kloss. You've been watching Inspiration Station here on entrepreneur.com. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye for now.